You see? And what is that knowing? So simple. Here we are. Can anything be simpler than that? Here I am. Here you are. And that's all there is to you. You are existence itself. Anything that you see happening is the I of you that is creating it. But now this is where we go in. We think there are two eyes, the eye of the human and the eye of the being. There's only one eye. So when you say, I feel this, I can question you and says, well, what do you mean by I? Are you referring to yourself, to your body? 99.9% of the time that you say I, you're referring to you, the body, the human. You see? And it can be helped. But the moment you stop and you say, where is this I? Really? Let me find out where it is. Take it back to its source. And you'll find that in this moment, all you are is, you just are. You see, which is presence. Now that areness, that is the knowing of the being. Because being is everything. There's nothing but being. You see? So all we ever meet, how to meet the human. Fear is constant. And every question, there's a little fear behind it. We're not sure. We're uncertain. But there's one thing you can be sure of. You can never be sure of anything. You see, and that you can be sure of. You see, just like change. There's one thing that never changes, and that is change itself. But when you move into the being, change and unchanging is irrelevant, immaterial. You see? Good or bad is immaterial. And anything that has a duality within it is immaterial to being. Being just is. Can you understand this? No. If you try to understand it, you go bonkers. Because the mind cannot understand it. However, and that's the beautiful thing, and knowing starts to come when you begin to surrender. All I know is now. All I know is here. And I can be here. What else is there? Every time I sit down and I look, I don't see Burt. I don't know who Burt is. But I know there is now. And now is forever and now is eternal. And that I know beyond the shadow of a doubt. I have found peace because I have realized this one simple thing. That nothing can happen to me. Oh, physically, yes. To the body, yes. But to I, nothing can happen. It's impossible. You see? Because I am. How many of you are understanding what I'm saying? Beautiful, beautiful. So the one thing that confronts us is called fear. And fear is one of our biggest lessons and the most beautiful, beautiful lesson. Because fear means I am missing love. You see? I am missing being, looking at the being. The moment we forget the being, we become immersed in, I am Burt. You see? And that starts fear. Because now I compare, now I compete. Now I want to be better than, rather than less than. You see what I mean? And that starts the whole ball rolling downhill. And that's when the suffering, that's called fear. But the moment you look fear in the face, it takes you another way. You see? And when a fear keeps repeating, it means we want it. Who wants it? Who wants that fear to keep on going?
The I.
The I, the human I. Because fear, you see, when you have fear that keeps repeating all the time, it means that you want your own personal identity to continue. Oh, the fear is killing you. But you don't want it to go away because without it you're nothing. It's your form of identity. So therefore, you hang on to it. I've had people come to me and they say, one particular case, a woman said to me, you know, I have so many worries and fears, and she's very tense. And I said at that moment, I said, look, I said, if you really pay attention to what I'm going to say to you, I can show you the truth of your being right here and now. And all your worries and fears are gone. And she got terrified. She got terrified at that moment. See, most people, if I say to them, right now, if you have fears and worries, I'll get rid of them. If you listen to me, if I'll tell you who you are. And they'll say, oh, okay, there's no fear in them. But you know why? They're half believing that I can do it. Or I can help them to see it. You know what I mean? They're not sure. But this woman was sure that I was going to help her. She was sure that I was going to get rid of her fears and disappointments and worries. And she stopped. She didn't want to handle it. Because she was so sure that I was going to succeed, at least she had faith, that I'm going to succeed, that what am I going to be like without these things? I've had them for so many years now. I've identified with them so much. You see, what am I going to do without it? There is that fear, you see. We cannot handle being. We've invested so much into our personality, into our past, into our accomplishments. We've invested so much energy into our degrees and education. But we know nothing about who we are. We know nothing about what life is about. You see? And this is where the courage has to come in. Are we willing, for just a few moments, to give up everything and be nothing? Just to have a glimpse of that being, because that being cannot peak. You cannot know the knowing, because it's knowing. You see, some people say, well, I want to be awakened. Well, the truth is you're already awakened, because being has never been asleep. Being is enlightened. It is the human that isn't enlightened. But the human goes in search for enlightenment, thinking that it's someplace else. The being part of you, which is the real part of you, is already awakened, is already enlightened. You see? So therefore, if you were to say, from now on, I'm awake, because the being does everything and is everything. It is the real doer, experiencer. You see? If we begin to feel that even now, you're awake. Everything else that the mind feeds you, all the beliefs and all the ideas and how life is, or any beliefs that you have, there's nothing wrong with them. It's the nature of the mind to believe. It is the nature of the human to believe. So therefore, you just let it be. You pay no attention to it. Who is believing this? Who is doing this? You see? Now, can we explore, because I said something very powerful about fear. Did you know that fear, now I'm talking about psychological fear, because survival fear, if a tiger is chasing you, there's going to be some fear there, okay? That's survival instinct, and it's okay to run away. However, we're talking about psychological fear. Worries, the future, what's going to happen to you, fear of death, which is a psychological fear, you see, because there is no death. You know, how can you die? You know, what is it that dies? The body? Where is the body? Well, that's the sense of touch, which makes you think. You see, the body is created in order to give validity to a body that doesn't exist. Did you know that? Did you hear what I just said? The body is existed to make you believe there is a body. You know? But in truth, everything that is functioning through you is being. Course in Miracles calls it the Holy Spirit. Everything. Everything is being done through that. But then you accumulate certain ideas and beliefs, which of course is being accumulated through memory. And then you think that you are these memories that you are accumulating. And you say, well, I am this, and I am this, and I am this, you see? And of course, then you lose touch with the being. And when you